Todd, can you walk us through, you talked about some of the things like eminent domain and sales tax. Whenever you're kind of on the defense, how does that actually play out? What is it that you do from the very get-go? How do you start that process of combating these issues, like not having sales tax on land services?
Well, it starts with a conversation with y'all. I want to have a real understanding of how something like that could affect y'all and y'all's ability to do business. I have to take that and gauge it on a level of severity of your potential disruption, how important it is to you. And from there, it becomes an education effort because, the great thing about the work I do with y'all is I'm on the right side. You guys aren't asking for anything sketchy. You're not asking for an unfair advantage over another industry. I'm going to be right because y'all are right. And so from there, I take that to the legislature, and I'll start with the person who is proposing the bad idea, because that is the courtesy that you allow them. If you're going to oppose their proposal, then you go talk to them and you educate them and you try and explain to them why it's a bad idea. And like with the issue on sales tax was was put out there by a representative from Eagle Pass, we were able to kill that with a conversation. By the time we were done with it, I was fortunate that I'd had a relationship with this guy since he was a freshman. He was a really good guy. I don't know who put the bug in his ear to do it. Maybe he was just trying to mess with somebody in particular. I don't know that. I didn't ask that because I didn't want to know. But by the time we were done with the conversation, he was like, "Yeah, I think I can put that on the back burner." Yeah, it's important for y'all to know every time the legislature comes in, there are between almost every session 7,500 to 8,000 bills filed. Of those, somewhere between 800 and 1,200 of them will pass. Most of them don't really do a lot of things. So it's easier to kill a bill than it is to pass a bill by a long way. If the bill starts to get legs, like in the old days when licensing was up, there was a bill with two very good sponsors in the House and the Senate, and we had to work really hard on that. We had to go, it's a ground assault. You have to go into every office and you talk to every one of them and you educate their staff and bring this issue to their attention so that when their boss is talking to their boss, the senator, is talking to the senator who sponsored the bill, their boss is going to express reservations about that bill. And the more people that tell a bill sponsor that they've got concerns with their bill, they're not real sure about it, the more likely it is that the bill sponsor is going to say, I got other things to worry about. I got 75 other bills I'm trying to pass. I think I'll set this one aside and not. I don't really want that fight, so we'll do something else. And that's the best case scenario. It doesn't always work. I mean, sometimes they're serious about it. Another key component of it is going to talk to leadership. You go and you talk to the governor's office and their policy people about it. You talk to the lieutenant governor's policy people about it. You talk to the speaker's policy people about it. And you try and build up some reluctance on their part to move forward with the bill. And if you get critical mass on that, you stop it. If you don't, and it's moving forward, that's when you start trying to expand your friends. You expand it to the rest of the oil and gas industry and the lobbyists and the resources that they have. And then you can get into a situation where we might want the individual association members that are in Texala to write letters. We've done that before
Yeah.
or a single letter with the letterheads of everybody on them, where Dallas and East Texas and Corpus Christi and Houston and the Permian are all joining in. And when you go to them and say, look, there are 20-ish thousand landmen in the state of Texas that say this is a bad idea, then you get people's attention. And that's how, when you really have to go to the mat on something like this, that's how you really get them stirred up. And then you can escalate beyond that and do letter writing campaigns. that is generally a last resort when you are really in the grease,
Yeah.
because legislators hate letter running campaigns. They hate when you put out their phone number and say, call
Call your
Brent Broussard,
representative.
and and they hate that more than anything. That doesn't mean it's not effective, and it can work against you, but that's the last resort. I mean,
It's a game.
that's the school voucher people did that all last session, both for and against. I mean, every time I walked into an office, their phone was ringing off the hook nonstop with people that are either for and against it, and they hate it. Every person in that office hates you and your issue when you get down to that. So, we really try and keep the discipline when it comes to how we oppose something.
Yeah, when you
We
get
try
to
and
that
do it the
point.
right way. Fortunately, I'm really old, and so I'm familiar with the old way of doing things, and so that we try and keep it at that level.
Yeah. So it's really you're just ramping up pressure and resistance, and
Yeah,
then and only then if it gets that serious and it's that big, you play the card of all right, now it's harassment.
right, exactly.